be tande any be liser deva samji chuna any deva sim ngombadaji deva simbadaji te samji deva thardu de tu yo mares jumden de da any be jagar ki pendu be ki pendu kankalani any be deva thardu de kabal chu derna semsar deva te be phagi be नाम करके यानी पे गेवाले चुन देंगे यानी पे संगी थोड़ा देवा जिला देवा थक तो मुझे जी को आए तीन जगह ना चाचा तीन वो चवाला संगी जी थक तो दी नियो आदि कारे कारे के नुंगो हमारे सेमना न्यूमो वे जवान बिगड़ो वांगी नुंगो हमारे चाचा न्यूमो जवान मानड्रो माचो जी न्यूमो दूध चुने तिनी देवा टुबिया देता चंदे देगी दूस चीनी थापलाम दी
Generally speaking, when we talk about happiness, our kind of perception or understanding is that simply feeling, and especially the feeling of the physical feeling. And when we have that kind of feeling of joy or pleasure of the physical, then we are satisfied with our practice. But that is not the ultimate happiness in Buddhism. And so when you look back into the great practitioners of Dharma, beginning from Buddha himself and the great scholars and the pundits and so their ultimate happiness that they are trying to achieve or find is the feeling of the mind or the mental sensation or happiness of the mind, and which is actually the result of the positive activities. So when you try to find or seek the happiness of the mind, what is the main obstruction here? And it will come to know that the mental afflictions or mental delusions or ignorance. And once you are under the influence or once you are under the power of all these negative mentalities, there is no chance that you can ever experience the happiness of the mind. So you see here, if you want to achieve the happiness of the mind, you need to eliminate, or you need to destroy the main obstruction of the mental happiness, that is mental delusion or mental defilements.
Namgar ke gwe chok de sem zambor ma ke be ke ba ni be kon to pheya ki thapsi chawa te kana lo
for the same purpose, Buddha mentioned in the sutra, he says that happiness is the one who trained their mind, and the trained mind will generate happiness. So therefore, you can see here Buddha is emphasizing on the mental peace or mental happiness rather than the physical. And he's saying here that if you don't have that, training of mind, then you should be, practice and generate. And if you already have, try to increase that, happiness of the mind.
Nyomong kedo jadi yodigala pa ka etuta ani jik bagi nyomong kedo maju thapsita kasi kesona ko nyomong de lubura chhabyare ko shabajna taya yare dima singde semgi tando luburu dide oda luburu dibe insa lubura insa ko nida chhabyo ko be jik nyuje tanga tangde ko chhabyo oda 하기 뒤에 처음에 생기당도 외외 처음에는 장주기 셈러서가 동인도 따와서 봐야 아니 배 생기 연된 차이야 대저잖아 뭐 담에 또 패야 근차이야 인류인들가 이 니기 토니 즉 에와 두 에버시다 이 시대 두야게 탑람데 에버시다 민데베 동안데 셀투야 에버시샤야 제가 때니 딘디 니속에 다니다 맞아 즉 상기 고방 두야야 에세야데 어디 비전 티 토니 용구가 에세.
So therefore, when we practice Dharma, what we should be doing is, examining our mind, especially when, if you perceive, the generation of delusions or ignorance or whatever negative mind, it's generating in your mind, you should be able to kind of identify that stage of, the mind and try to obstruct as much as you can the generation of negative mentalities. And if you failed on that, and if negative mentality, delusions or ignorance or afflictions already generated, then because of the reason that these are the temporary mental state of mind, these are impermanent. Therefore, you can change. You can do a confession. You can do the necessary practices, and you can purify those negative mentalities or negative activities that you created. And on the other side, you can also generate and practice the positive mentalities, wisdom realizing emptiness, altruistic mind. So when you look at these processes, you can know that achieving of the positive mind is feasible, is plausible, is doable, and elimination of the negative mentalities, afflictions, delusions is also feasible and also doable and also plausible. And looking at this kind of fundamental statement, we can say that enlightenment is something that is achievable.
어다 근데 인도가 비즈니스 니기 전에다 갈릭자니 상기 고방토야 탑람들라 에니베 파진 두다 비트가 냐면치네 니 또서 단데 직 대화 처음부터 등에라 동안 체세 동안다 에 캐도 세네 어다 직 갈릭자와데 맞이 의심 선바차리 그랬어 미일 처음부터네 직 동안 춘춘지가 세와했어 때나 애니베 지 오니 나다 지체무지 이런데게 미지라 애니 지 세세기 샤제제 야는 다야여나 지 샤제 제기도 왔어 윤도 손담거래 이 파기 샤제가라 차거할 때도 배 선진지도 어떻게 지송을 했어.
So based on these two reasons that happiness can be achievable and suffering can be eliminated. One can then proceed to the further practices of in the text mentioned about the six perfections, and there are many other practices too. And so here one should be aiming at the very kind of high objective, both enlightenment and bodhisattvas. But when you do the practices, you need to be able to endure the small suffering. And the simple example here would be if you have a serious illness or something that needs surgery, you need to endure. You need to be able to kind of tolerate the small the pain or the money that you need to spend in order to kind of cure that serious illness by kind of enduring small sufferings.
어다 도스니다 직 아주 생 세계대 그 오늘 직아 민지도를 나고 했어. 민지도는 가티나 농대는 니들은 대화 상이요 말. 민지점주 조선 전부 민지점주 직 파기나 직 잠세기 연대의 미대 아니 배 미토나 빠도고 아니 소스 센나디기 대상 연구하래 용어를 그 세부자래 미조선체다 잠세체대 기버지다 미콘도샤다 하여 라신기 마지버지 요다 그 충이 잡고 왔어.
So this kind of tolerance, or is something very important in a human society, and we can know from our experiences the higher level of tolerance, endurance that you have, the more peace, the more happiness you will have, and vice versa. On the opposite side, when you are a very angry person, they'll be more likely that you'll have more kind of suffering, more unhappiness.
다른 키나 직 오늘 바게 키 콘도 사보다 룬 사보 미지 거디는 창대겠네. 렌산 명간진이 니 두글로 로 쿠주도 가세. 대만이 바 키에네 직 벨리센데게 키 시라시란 디미적한데 가서 잠부진이 자기 냐기도 내가 동 둘로 인하더니 이렇게 누가 왔어. 니다 때도 다 장장인데.
And of course, the more, as mentioned before, if you have more love and compassion, more tolerance, it will be you will achieve more happiness. At the same time, you will get better treatment from others. You can just look at the a dog that we used to keep as a pet, and if the dog's very kind of always barking at other people and making a lot of trouble, then we simply put them to sleep. But if dog is very nice and pretending to be nice even though not, then the owner will likely most likely to keep it as long as you want.
어떤 도시에 달라는 수준만이니 아니 배다 닝굴레 전박 공주들 갈래 뛰어래 어다 직 나라도 네바 굴디 세인데 그 이제 최계다 최기 남다지 차고 말에 이제 최대기다 되고 말에 이 최남다지 이제나 아니 민당 니베 직 되는다 된데라 제가 지기어 말했을 때 가는 거 알았어. 다들이 되지야 알았어.
So going back to the text, the practices, 37 practices of Bodhisattvas, we are on verse 33, and which this tells us about the one shouldn't be attaching to the wealth and honor or reputation, because these two are, in the case of ordinary human beings, mixed with eight mundane activities.
저상마도 만체지다. 말아도 미만체지 민토로 아래. 즉 민지라 에라. 벤저지 때문에 에라 단데 도스니 최단 다선데세지. 아니 배 가치디 배 마스르지. 아니도 제 철들이 소화 견되긴 또 되게 다 오늘 미버지 쉬우지 차려.
And you can see, many of us, while we, consider ourselves as a practitioner, but if you look closely, we will notice that, we want to be, more famous or more respected, or maybe, more wealth, to make some money. So, especially for the practitioners, having this kind of mentality is, something very, non-virtuous, sinful activity. It's like, wearing a mask of, dharma, but in real life, not practicing.
오다 뒤인지가 라데 니나라 대가랑 손도왔어. 닝구스긴디 껴인가 니바도 고피. 아니 대체나 이 껴인 가요. 껴인 건 진짜 말이야. 껴인 건 진짜나 껴인 통이나 껴인 전에 미 수지나 로덴지 주고 말이야. 그때리기 개발해 봐요. 근데 닝구 왕도 반스 저기지. 대상 건데 자와 냠들데. 자시 김다. 진다 김남라
33 reads, the domestic disputes with our friends and relations to gain their respect or the things we feel do will leave us unable to listen to Dharma. unable to study or meditate well. Since danger is found in the homes of our patrons, as well as in those of our family and friends, abundant attachment we have to these households. The sons of Buddhas all practice this way. This tells us about the negative impacts of the attachment. Other translation: as quarreling back and forth in order to gain wealth and honor degenerates the action of listening, thinking, and meditating. It is the practice of Bodhisattvas to abandon attachment to the households of family, friends, and sponsors.
닝구로한 게 받쳐서 지금서 송로와서 다만이 이상 다 제가 최민의 개니 아니 마타게 최민의 개니 다다 민의 지금도 와 닝고는 좀봐 라테니 다 지저거 얼마도 전께 말와 왜 기존 통주스 때 자리야 어다지 인상 마마체지 최강 용백의 소리 시작과 즉 주로 지지지나 오늘 제가 얼마지나 즉 하게 선전 탐색이 있던 지고 와요 선전 탐색이 있던 지데 신자스니 내니 찾고 담만은 남기다래 합사는 요몽 남바서기 최징인지나 합사는 요몽 요몽도 애도 타고 와요 보다 닝구로 왕게 한수적이 죄여가 저기 와서 통주수 요바래. 아니 즉 남바 나라내나 즉 가서 지우고 실로내냐 남바 많이 바이나 저도 더 니냐다 가서 지우고 그래서 소매하고 다 그래. 되게 좀 그래. 보다 저번 때는 미세레니 저게 가는 파치네. 아니 배 땀니다. 저거 하나 가라 친데. 아니 대바지야 하는 말. 그지? 네, 강가 저게 가는 그 그래. 아니 저번에는 삼바용이에요, 말. 삼하면은 아니 원진 간식 잡고 공연 거. 저자 대지진에 저바도 삼바도 냠도 그랬어. 보다 대마세배 아니 배 랑기 아니 담보 춘춘제니 아니 갈래라 아니 랑기 자시란 자샤 아니 김반 나서 지지란 자샤 보다 도시네 가면 너무 지쳐서 대 자샤야 도시네 이 인글리시 아니 근데 이거라다 즉 내게 아니 가게 민라 잡을 잡아 내가 잡을 잡아도 방고를 대 야스장주스에 라렌지스 투스는 다 전쟁이 투스는 거라서
said here, as quarreling back and forth in order to gain wealth and honor degenerates the action of listening, thinking, and meditating. So because of the our attachment to wealth, making money, reputation, fame, honor, these all leads to many disagreement, or here says quarreling, because you are not getting what you want, so you quarrel. And here not only because of the religion, there are many other cases where simply out of attachment we fight, we quarrel, and based on the religion too, you can see many conflicts. Because of the religion, the religion itself is the causes of many conflicts we can see. So if we are real practitioners, from Buddhist point of view, there shouldn't be any quarreling, there shouldn't be any conflicts, especially between different faith and religion, because as a practitioner, one is supposed to benefit all sentient beings. So when you think from that point of view, there is no external enemy that you quarrel, that you fight with. And in Buddhist practice, the main enemy is your inner enemy, that is the affliction or delusions or ignorance. And and these quarreling or these conflictions or this war, we can kind of see in our daily life. And when we involve in this kind of quarreling or this kind of conflicts, or this kind of war fight, this reduces the timing for the main practices of Dharma. Here it mentioned listening, thinking, and meditating, And if you don't have enough time for listening, this won't lead you to good thinking, good contemplation. And if you don't have that inner thinking or contemplation, this won't lead to a good meditation. So here you can see the degenerations of all processes of practice of Dharma because of the attachment for wealth and honor. So abandoning this kind of attachment, including to your household family, to your friends, to your sponsors, people who are very near and close to you, is the practice of bodhisattvas.
단다 민구를 잡아보는데 파 먹었다 미에네베 쟁기 소당 땡들라 벤저다 땡들라 내야지니 아니베 즉 벤저 두기 제데 미에바 이바다고 세고디는 순서라서 다즉양 하기 의진 300원에 소수의 대양 랑den기 돈달라 랑지비 돈달라 벤저들이 다디 보다들이 야치모들이 지기어 마세데 고고아스 아니 쟁기 뜬다 아니 베양 야카베 아니 나나도 지소나가레 인디기 뜬달라 벤줄 잡아이나 지구레스 수수노레스 가르자라 라지 가사 잡al 라마 잡았으니 간디지 보고 가르잖아 랑den기 뜬달라 아니 배 떠있는와 자와니와 보고와 점된데 떠있는와 자와니와 순간에 젠댕이 뜬달라 덴마와 자와마와 대야 가바친데 부모만인가 자리가래 젠기 뜬제라 아니 배 가기 즉 벤전 누구이 있잖아 이 젠댕은 누구이나 제 초고 왔다 아니 배 양한지 미 가기 즉 가서 그래 소라는 젠다가 소라 뇌야 젠다가 아니 배 벤줄라 아니 배 고거다 들리기 토래 지나에 이 진도이 나지도 말 보다 때도 제당 태부고 거라 그래서 시험하고 거라
So from this verse we also need to understand that out of attachment out of ego it is not appropriate and it is a sinful activity if you cheat others, if you take the life of others, if you harm other sentient beings, and whatever it is saying here is the abandoning of attachment is if you are doing something just to benefit yourself only, if you are doing out of self-cherishing mind or ego mind, then it is not appropriate. You should be abandoning this attachment. But if you are benefiting community, if you are benefiting the whole nation or other sentient beings, then Buddha himself kind of emphasized, mentioned even to the ordinary monks and nuns to do much as one can to benefit others. For the practitioners, it is mentioned by Buddha himself that for oneself, try to have least chores as one can, and try to have least purpose, whatever objective for yourself. But for others, try to adopt many activities as you can, and try to adopt many purposes, objectives to benefit others. So you can see here the differences. For practitioners, just to benefit oneself, you shouldn't have many work or many chores or many purposes. But to benefit others, it is appropriate to do as much as you can.
언더 대 제대로가 가짜다 그밖에 안 갔다 그랬어. 가짜 뭐니 슈 춘보이 그거 춘춘지에나 맞아야 되고. 그바데 가짜데 춘춘지 그거 춘보이나 제거. 가짜데 그거 또 제지. 그다 대도 시바자 그랬어. 엔전주 세바기 냠낸 제야 돼. 진든 제야 된다. 아니 진든 제야라 아니 베랑 레타네 진든 제야라 딱지 가르치고 그나 진든 지 하루 뭐마게 진대는 누구이나 라니 아니 베참 누바냐 야야나 들리 땅 거랬어. 진든 게 제랬어. 이 첩시바이나 그 전주세베 첩시바더니 전주세바더니 음바이나 철시 지체기 어때? 제마파기 원바 도안도 되가? 이 철시 받이 주고 벤저 세계 믿어. 내가 마담 간디 철시 첨버래. 장주 세버래. 전신지다 걸기지다 이베 류르견이 굳이도 막게 믿어 앞에서 된 나라. 제가 철시 세바싱인데 어다 때리지 고 말했어.
And benefiting others, we need to see what to negate, what generally we call gakja, and object of negation, and the purpose. You need to weigh these two, side. If the object of negation is kind of low, and if the purpose is high, then you should be doing that activity. So generally, the practice of the Bodhisattva is to benefit others. And to benefit others, you need to do whatever it takes, even to, give up one's retreat, if it is, benefiting others and it's a meaningful benefit. And for, practitioners or for Bodhisattva who involves with, sort of politics, it is not necessary to have kind of these practitioners involving in gathering a lot of money or wealth or reputation. One simple example here would be Mahatma Gandhi. He is a politician, and he is we can say that he is a bodhisattva, always benefiting others. But for himself, you can see that he owns no wealth in his class, and then his the white garment that he used to wear, and then his walking stick. And these are the things that he owned, and as you can see in the exhibition. So politicians, with dharma practices, doesn't kind of infer that one should be making money. You can be a very simple practitioner as well as very kind of high politicians.
어떤 중나 있으면 밀어 제가 주나 저 사와드만 해야 되는데 중나 빨리 약속을 때리지.
If can, then the best the ideal to look upon is the way of Milarepa's life, owning nothing.
어다 도스레스. 다들 주고다 지투지. 다 뭐네 지금 하나 지도 있나 지투생데 빼 누자. 소소 지투지 마차를 대주고다. 수술 조금이나 뭔가 담아대지 차고 와. 보다 뒤니 지수도 다 이미 있으면은 지수 방주도 성공했어.
Next comes the abandoning of the harsh foods. We all know from our experiences, harsh food is something which creates a boundary between ourselves and even our friends, and it is something that. Is not something that one should be avoiding if one is staying in the community.
어다 즉 가서 걸다 말하면서 냠는 시디가라 즉 하리 단다 중 세바 나신 지전에 소소 적인도 미도 윤도 수다당 거 삼당 거 지기 매나 오 근데 주인 인간들이 생행되게 준다 시기가 말해. 거기 장면되게 준디 인기 말해. 배자 장면되게. 배자는 되니시자. 손샤대. 아니 생행에 되니시 라기도. 이거 난 누구 믿어가. 간책이도. 이것도 수다다. 수다다는 그건 수다다니. 엔 살지 대가는 말로. 살니만 살 깔깔에 대가는 줘야지 레기리지. 우스진로는 된 냠nen세가 때마다 이마치 톱대가 냠nen세인데 톱대가 용다야지 게 말이지. 수수수 거기 직 로다 참아지네 깔레라 직 노하시리지.
So when we talk about the practices, one should be examining, your own, the level of practices. When you come to teaching and when you listen, you should kind of examine what you are listening and what you are hearing, what is mentioned in the text, and whether whatever you do, is according to what is mentioned in the text or not. Probably the teacher, whatever you are listening to, is not telling a lie, or the text that you are reading or that teacher is referring is probably it's not something cheating on others. So then why is there a confliction between your own character and what is mentioned in the textbook? So you think over and again, first time you might not be able to do it, but you simply have thoughts, and second time you'll be more your thoughts might be more stronger, and then on third, fourth time you will try to stick to what is mentioned in the text. And through that way, the practice comes. It is not something that you can, achieve in one day, or you can just switch, the button. Verse 34, the words of abuse that we utter in anger cause others much pain by disturbing their mind. And we who are striving to be bodhisattvas will find that our practice will surely decline. So seeing the faults that arise from harsh language, which those who must hear find unpleasant and rude, abundant abuse directed towards others, the sons of the Buddhas all practice this way. The other translation, due to harsh words the minds of others are disturbed, and the character of bodhisattvas degenerate. Therefore, it is the practice of bodhisattvas to abandon harsh words unpleasant to others. Due to harsh words, the minds of others are disturbed, and the character of bodhisattvas degenerate. Therefore, it is the practice of bodhisattvas to abandon harsh words unpleasant to others. This is, a fact that we can know from our experiences, and if somebody is having a good and quiet and peaceful life, and if you use anger, the harsh words to that person, this will definitely disturb, the person with a very quiet and peaceful mind. And so, using of the harsh word is not the end. When you use a harsh word, that will bring, disturbed mind, and that will lead to, quarreling, disagreement, then conflicts, war, and it becomes the cause of more suffering. So abandoning of the harsh words, of course, is unpleasant to others, but it will, if you practice abandoning harsh words, it will bring a peace and happiness and quiet and calm life, of course, within your family, and also to your neighbors, to community. So here it tells the importance of the very simple physical practice that is needed for the bodhisattvas. So if you are bodhisattvas already, and if you use harsh word, then this will degenerate your practices. And so here kind of it emphasizes the physical and the verbal simple practices of bodhisattvas. So if you want to become a bodhisattva, you should be abandoning these kind of very simple harsh words. And when you look at the path, when a bodhicitta is generated, for the person with high intelligence, it could be at any time. One can generate bodhicitta, altruistic mind, before understanding of emptiness, or maybe after the understanding of emptiness. But for the person with low intelligence or low skill, for them, a bodhicitta arises before, gaining the understanding of the emptiness. So basically here it says that if you want to achieve altruistic mind or want to become a bodhisattva, you should be avoiding even, using a harsh word.
아니 배 밀라 아니 배 지주 많아 미우지 든든 차고 왔어 가지 민든 충분히 왔어 아니 마체베 장주기 쌤 장주 세베 제약이 진든 인디가라 치 주모 마찬 진든 제약이 그거 차고 나도 왔어 진든 제세 유들라 지주 많아 미수 닝 많아 달라들 수가 암절로 어떤 든든 인디가라 가지 가게 직 다다진 되고 막 된디가 지투모데 시인데 된디 괜찮 거지 푸쳐서 미감한테 다시 가나요 차고 어떤 된디가 민든 충분히 저기 만화도 저기 생각 대바에 등예에 대지나 다른 민가도 근데 까만 소리나 니만 이래지도 아 뉴다에 다시 잡아야지 님이 그 삼다나 라진이 누구 찾아야지.
And we consider, ourselves as the practitioners of greater vehicle Mahayana, and of course, when we consider as a Mahayana, it kind of entails that we are desiring or we are trying to achieve altruistic mind for bodhicitta, and being practitioners who want to achieve bodhisattvas. And then using a harsh word is totally, contradictory practices. So it doesn't kind of, it doesn't stay with what we want. We want something, but in actual practice we are doing something different. And as a practitioner wanting to be a bodhisattva, using a harsh word is against the practice itself. And of course, because of the past, bad habits, we are so much used to, using a harsh word. But what we can do is be more aware of, the speeches, words that we use, and try to reduce the amount of harsh word that we use. And that way we can, later become a more better practitioner. And next verse tells us about the domination of the afflictions or ignorance or whatever negative mentalities arises. It tells how to kind of reduce or dominate those kind of negative mentalities.
마케 콘라 계로 제디가 자다자 니모데 자투 그레스 이모데 니모 계타네 아니 니모 자긴 시데 디 하게 용하야 내게까지 시도했어.
So this is very important, in the practice. The timing to dominate or destroy the negative mentalities is when you perceive that the negative mentalities is arising or generating in your mind just before actual generation. So that is the time you can kind of stop the generation of that negative mentalities. If it is already generated, then it's something useless to say that I want to kind of destroy or stop generating negative mentalities.
Then 동보르지나 당고 고바 사번다니 사번때니 누구 깨도 이디가라 또 이마 하고리 누구 당가라가니 매서나 코 조투비야요래 니바시 춤보야 말이야 다야 전부자 동보 전부자 야가 로마강가 계산에 동보 제기나 니 마음보시게 견단 거고 또 동보 인상 어디 대전이지네 누구 깨도 여비니 하기 가야기 탑시간 까투리 뇽 차상 예찬에 지 가긴세니 영향력이니까 저때 그건도 줄때 따라가는 거지.
So as mentioned before, it is important to stop the generation of the defilements before the generation, and once it is kind of full bloomed, then it is very difficult. A simple example would be, if you know that the seed of the poisonous tree is there, it's growing. That's the time where it's easy. You can just take out the seed and destroy it. When it is full bloomed, well-grown tree, then even if you cut it, there is a possibility that it might, harm others.
보다 이 가르잖아. 초진이 가서 요몽 공수 첨벌. 개와 토마에 되는 요몽 건데요. 초니니 단지는 가서 투투 뒷남이랑 당 두고 와. 근데 규제 망보 그전에 요몽 예선을 충분히 용해요. 세부 차려야
And this is, mainly because of the two reasons. The first one is because we are so much used to the negative mentalities or afflictions. The second reason is because of our extreme self-cherishing mind or extreme ego mind. So because of these two, it is very difficult in the later stages to destroy one's negative mind is bloomed or fully generated.
대단한 순간 뇨모 겁나 님비 도가데스 진시 기분 님비 천수네 아 차서 뇨모 땅고 제마다 문점 제밖에 라는 성도 왔어.
So therefore it is mentioned here, defiled types of action will soon become habits. As we grow accustomed to base states of mind, strenuous effort will then be required for the force of opponents to counter these stains. So armed with the weapons, alertness and memory, attack such defilement as lust on first sight. Remove these obstructions that hinder our progress. The sons of the Buddhas all practice this way. The shorter translation. Because obscurations, when habituated, are difficult to reverse with an antidote. It is the practice of bodhisattvas to destroy obscurations, such as attachment and others, the very first moment they appear, as mindful and introspective beings who have grasped the antidotal sword.
어떤 nyumu siddhigala khandeshi das nyumu siddhigala sem ratu maji bache sem tu bache gina nyumu siddhigala sem kibu mea siddhigala sem jungila nyumu siddhigala dilla komsona ene be kompa be lepsona ene karache gire jana nyimbo ene be dana khondri nyimbo ta 저거 차랑 님보라 다 조바땡 거라 소바 컴투에 이런 말 차랑 그런 끼리 짐에 가라 에 조바땡 인잖아 오모 시작 가자 요 대인들이 님보고 더 가버려 님모데 끼 파게 콤발레서나 충분 차서나 배 이게서나 내가 겉도들라 아니 배 님보 땡때바이나 땡가처럼마다 님보고 더 두고 말이스 대인들이 인도가라 당분이 요몽파 얘도 얘들가 전시기 전바의 시진기 에베 베기 집하기 디제네 에베 전베기 요몽 뛰기도 미도 시진기 에베 텔라 따제다네 하기 님보 때문에 된대기 천작 때문에 아니 차소 요몽들도 에 하기 마치 얘도 주대에네 때마다도 봐 작아 물좀 잡아 요몽라 되는 물 좀 집어이나 당원이 자주스를 냐면 지겨워야 돼. 뭐 이제 순거래서.
So here the word used is obscurations. The obscurations is referred to something as a mental state which disturbs our mind and once you are used to these kind of obscurations, or here said once habituated, then it is very difficult to use antidote and destroy it. Example, if you are so much used to hatred, and when your mind is generating a hatred continuously, at the same time, at the same moment, it is extremely difficult to generate a patience or tolerance. So, and of course, when it is totally generated, it's in a full form, it is more difficult to apply antidotes. And so, what is the right time, to attack that kind of obscurations or afflicted mind? Is, as it mentioned here, the very first moment they appear. It's waiting ready. So when your obscuration or when your afflicted mind is getting ready to appear, that is the time that you should be, attacking. And here it says with the mindful and introspection. Weapon. So if you do that, then this is the practice of bodhisattvas.
어다 도스네 즉 말하죠 강간 유목이 칭화주된 자리여래 유목되기 말세네 오셔야 되는 자리여래 라운드에 강간 유목 예여래 이 유목 때마다 공부주나지 공부할 줄 보여야 돼. 이 마세베 ranzine kyo ngamani thudu tayo mare tanda thudu tayo mare mau bana lokacho ji tadu nido kacho ji thudu ta thudu yeme chojun thu yame rin chade ranzine jisi thudu mato tam mato ga desi tu ta nyumong sing de la capture la yimada kya kya thang mare oda tende indiga chik thagi nyumong dewa dugi yana nyumondela ini being bujum chia tang kema thadu to ma ji ko ma te ro ye ti ga mi ke ke thashi chi us chi chi ni chi phagi jamse gi lo de la jang ina ran chin chin la nu go ai oda tongi to be tawala ni be lo chi e tu tongi to be tawa ga ja de ni be din la 근데 애도 짓다와이나 단지는 거야. 단지인데 진진이 년보대 진진이 년보대 장주 이센다. 단진 년보대 동의도 타와이가. 대하고 어도 없이 대하고는 이미 갈리 너무 문좀 제대 내용 그랬어. 이게 대체 못 찾아요. 어도 수냐면 제가 있나? 달라는 수능님 몇 고쳐 버렸어. 아니다 상이 대제만은 인전되다. 와도 마들리오 말했어. 아니 대제만 찾아고 그랬어. 가지 라는 수능님이 생이나 시고 쳐봐 주어래. 닝이나 닝고 주어래. 때마다 가상진나라 나랑만지다고 찾아게 대답해 주는 말이지.
We all know that we are under the power of obscurations or afflictions or delusions, and saying that I won't generate negative mind is something it's sort of making a fun of yourself. It's impossible, and we know that self-grasping is something that we haven't touched in the past life, and we are not trying to move it in this lifetime, and of course in future, probably it won't move. So, meaning, we have a very strong self-grasping mind, and as long as we have that self-grasping mind, whatever we do, our mind will automatically rely upon the afflictions or delusions or obscurations. And so the practice that we should be doing here is, of course, one of the main practices, altruistic mind. And doing the practice of altruistic mind, it will directly, hurt the self-cherishing mind or ego mind. And the practice of, emptiness, understanding of the emptiness, directly hurts the self-grasping mind. And altruistic mind hurts the self-cherishing mind or ego mind. So, so if you try to practice what I was mentioned here, attacking the obscurations or afflicted mind right before it's coming on the surface, and and then with the understanding of the altruistic mind and the emptiness, so gradually and slowly we will be able to reach to the point where we can easily attack the obscurations or generations of negative mind. And so if we can able to do this maybe in the future, or if you have some understanding, then we we fulfill the objective of studying this text, 37 Practices of Life, from both sides, from a teacher's side as well as from students' side. Otherwise, if we simply kind of without practicing at all, and if we just come here and just discuss, that will be empty words. So there is no benefit for you and for me. We'll stop here, and next class we'll continue and we'll finish with the text.